What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more acid techno slash acid trance, which is to say this is a tune from '96. I've mentioned it before, there's a lot of tunes from the mid-'90s that have characteristics from both acid trance and acid techno, and they sort of have this hybrid sound. I do think this is very much one of them. I'd say like 94 to 98 or 94 to 97 perhaps is like the real sweet spot for a lot of these tunes. And again, you know, there's some on labels that are more known for acid trance. There are tunes by, say, Overcharge or Nuclear Hide, which have, and those are on like Time Unlimited, which is a German acid trance label, but some of those tunes have a sort of acid techno feel. And then there are some tunes on like Early Smitten, even Early Stay It Forever, which have a bit of an acid trance sound. So again, it was just sort of a blended flavor when acid genres were sort of emerging and eventually splintering into different directions. Nevertheless, we're going to listen to a tune by N-Sun X. It's called Humanoid. Some of you may know this. N-Sun X is a duo. What is it? It's like Bernd something? What is it? Bernd Linsenbuehler and Jörg Zittrich. But yeah, this is from 1996. It's on Cassiopeia Records. Number, what is it? 96010. That's a weird cat number, so I'm not exactly sure what number this is. But yeah, this is a classic tune. I first heard it on the Sound of Acid Core Volume 2. I've mentioned it before, the Sound of Acid Core series. I had like the first 4, but the first 2 in particular were instrumental into getting me into acid techno and acid trance. Got them like early 97. I think they both came out. I think the first one came out in 96, second one came out early 97. I got them shortly after. As I mentioned before, my brother introduced me to electronic music. Goa trance was the first thing I heard. As I kept hearing in a lot of Goa tunes, I was like, hey, what's that sound that I keep hearing? My brother was like, oh, that's the acid sound. I said, oh, all right, I'm going to go investigate that. Ended up finding some CDs that like had the word acid and, you know, were clear that they were electronic music, and I just happened to get Sound of Acid Core Volumes 1 and 2, which had all sorts of classic acid trance and acid techno. And again, there were some tunes that I was hearing in these early days of exploring acid music, and as the genres themselves were beginning to splinter, that I think were sort of hybrids, or at least have elements that you could say from both genres. So nevertheless, this is a tune that kind of fits into that mold, if you ask me. It's a tune called Humanoid. I think it samples, well, number one, it definitely samples One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Like, I'm talking about form, I'm talking about content, or whatever. But apparently there's also a sample to a video game, Berserk. So I'm not sure about that, but the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest sample I think most people will know. Nevertheless, this is N-Sun X Humanoid from 1996. Maybe it's on 45? Oh yeah, this just takes me back. I'm like a 17-year-old kid, like just listening to these CDs for the first time and like, oh my god, I need to get turntables so I can mix this shit. Another acid layer in support. Deep and dirty. Now we got that sort of like hard synth. Lots of high percussion too. Fishing acid line. Double time that hard thing. Great acid riff, right? Like,
I'm talking about form. I'm talking about content. I'm talking about interrelationships.
weird novel that I know it's famous. I know people love the movie. It's a weird story. It's just 90s acid. It's so like rich and lush and like it's the point of the tune. Like the acid is the point. I love that rhythm. And I think we're gonna get a breakbeat, like full like kick in coming in. Come on. Come on. Yeah, it's nice. Eat your heart out, Crystal Method. But you can feel it's just gonna like hit light speed and go again at a moment's notice. You just feel that. I didn't remember this part went on for so long. I dig it. You get lots of people dancing like crazy people. I like that syncopated roll into the measure changeover. Yo, playing around with the percussion schemes. Acid intensification. They're just having fun at this point. The tune loses intensity quickly though, so you know, you're mixing out, you got to know what you're working with there. But again, once you know a tune like that, then you know, okay, I just have to start mixing so that right when it gets to that moment, I can go full middle or even like, you know, 3/4 to the new tune, whatever. So again, once you know a track and that it does disassemble very quickly, then you can obviously accommodate that with your plan as a DJ. Nevertheless, I really do enjoy it. It really has that mid-90s feel. I think maybe some people would put it more strongly in the acid techno category. I get that, but part of the the sample a little bit and just the sort of drive of the acid work does make me think of some other acid trance from the day. But I do think that like sort of kick beat, break beat, middle part. That feels more acid techno than acid trance to me. Nevertheless, let me know what you think about this tune. As I mentioned, or I think I mentioned, there are two pretty good tunes on the other side. I don't think either one is on the same level as this track, but they are pretty good. One of them, as I think I mentioned, named Wicked Plastic, so I don't think that one is on the same level as Kektek's Wicked Plastic. Nevertheless, I may come back for one of those. Let me know if you'd like to hear it. Let me know what you thought of this one. And yeah, let me know what you think about acid techno more broadly. I am interested. There have been a few people who have, sort of been willing to check out some acid tunes, and I'm curious whether there are certain artists that have begun to emerge and that are more interesting or less interesting or so on. So do let me know if there's some artists that you've begun to enjoy and like to hear me react to more. And some of you old heads who've been listening to this for a long time, let me know if there's a track or an artist that I'm still sort of like neglecting to get to that you'd like to hear reacted to. Other than that, thank you for listening and watching. I do appreciate it. Have a good day. Have a good night. I'll see you next time. Peace.